Okay, Breaker Broke 23. Today we're going to take a look at the Kenwood KRC 610. This deck came out late 91, and I believe most dealers had it in stock by about CES of 1992. So she's an oldie, but a goodie. Okay, this is a pretty full-featured deck. This is a AM/FM with cassette and CD changer controller. So you had quite a few options of programming source here, and that was pretty cool. So this is a pull-out deck, meaning that you grab this handle and you could pull it out of your dash. This would mount in like a sleeve. Some people call it a cage, a din can, pull-out sleeve, whatever. And then of course you have the plug in the back here that stayed in the can. So when you pulled this out to take it in for security reasons, because you know back then stealing car stereos was a pretty big thing. Anyway, this was a really cool idea. Okay, let's go over some of the user features. So we have volume control here and fader. So this outer knob is your fader. This center knob is your volume control. You pull out on this and you'd get balance. So you could go balance left, right, and then front, rear, fade. You have bass and treble controls right here. We have the loudness control right here to kick in a little bit of extra low end and a little bit sharper high end at low volumes. And of course that'll attenuate as you go up in volume. We have the eject control here for the cassette. We have programs. So this was like side A, side B control right here. Then we have fast forward and fast reverse. FM and AM mode buttons here. So we have FM 1, push it again, we'll have FM 2, and push it again, we go back to FM 1, and then the bottom one is just AM, and you only get one band on AM. So we have a total of 16 presets for FM and 8 for AM. This is your up-down tuning control function here. And then, of course, your presets, and we have some dual function buttons that work for tape advance, which was like Kenwood's music search option. Track control for the CD changer. This was disc controller, up and down, play, stop. And we have illumination control. And this could go from green to orange. And orange is burnt out on this deck. This deck has a couple problems with it, actually. The orange illumination is burnt out, a little bit of damage to the LCDs here, and unfortunately the tape deck has a bad belt in it. The belt is physically in there. There's just so much slack in it, it won't play a cassette, which was kind of uncommon actually, because these belts in these Kenwoods were pretty good, and yeah, you'd get a lot of miles out of those. Anyway, kind of a cool rig, definitely full featured. I don't really remember what retail is on it. I'm going to take a guess it was low to mid 300s, because it being a CD changer control. Alright, we'll take a look at the back. Okay, on the rear of the deck, we have RCA outputs for front and rear. It's always a sign of a good quality head unit. That means you can use the built-in fader here to fade amps from front and rear. Gives you more flexibility if you're running electronic crossovers and stuff as well. Then we have the 13-pin changer cord there. We have speaker output leads for front, rear, left, right, chassis ground. This went to the actual pull-out can itself. Let's see, this is illumination control. So if you hook this up to your illumination switch in your vehicle, when this orange and white wire gets 12 volts, it will cut the lighting in here by half. This blue and white wire here is your output remote. You would use this for amplifiers and power antenna. And because this deck was full featured, I'm amazed that it didn't have the blue and then blue-white, because what some decks would do in this vintage and this, you know, higher end up model is that you would have one of these wires control your amplifiers. So any program source that you listen to on this stereo would trigger the amplifiers. Then you would have, say, this blue-white wire, which was only for the power antenna. So if you had a cassette in here, it would shut power off and your power antenna would retract. If you had it in CD changer mode, your power antenna would be retracted. When you go back to the tuner mode, it would make this wire hot, and it would put up your power antenna. And then, unfortunately, somebody cut the fuse blocks off of here. But then we have red for switch 12 volts. We have yellow for constant 12 volts. And then, of course, an electrical ground. Now, this deck has a built-in lithium battery. So what was really cool about this, you pulled this deck out of your vehicle, or whoops, for the night, and you wouldn't lose any of your station presets or any of those functions. So you'd pop it back in your dashboard, and you were good to go. Anyway, that's it. The Kenwood KRC 610. Stay tuned. I've got a whole bunch of more of this stuff. Old school car audio. Thanks for watching.